Imagine walking into one of the biggest races of the year and you haven't lost a single time all season. That was the pressure sitting on one young man's shoulders on the 4th of July, 2026 at Hayward Field in Oregon. His name is Busang Colin Kebon Shippey. He is 22 years old. He comes from Botswana, and right now he might be the best 400-meter runner on the whole planet. He didn't run his fastest that day, but he did something that might matter even more. He won when the race got ugly. When an Olympic champion got right on his shoulder and refused to let go. And that says a lot about who this kid really is. Let me tell you why. Coming into this race, Kebon Shippey had a perfect record. He had won every single Diamond League 400-meter race he entered all year. And here's the wild part. Each time he raced, he ran faster than the time before. He wasn't just winning, he was speeding up. But this race was different. Waiting for him was R.Y. Benjamin. Now Benjamin is a huge name. He's the Olympic champion in the 400-meter hurdles. He won gold at the Paris Games in 2024. He's the second fastest hurdler in history. But at this meet, he threw the hurdles away completely. He wanted to test his pure raw speed on the flat track. Only one of these two men would walk out of Eugene still unbeaten. So who is Kebon Shippey and how did he get here? He was born on the 13th of February, 2004. He is the reigning world champion in the 400 meters. He won that title at the World Championships in Tokyo back in September of 2025. He ran it in 43 seconds, which set a new national record for his country. That run made him the first man from Botswana to ever win an individual world title. That's a big deal. And he wasn't done. Just days later in Tokyo, he ran the final leg of Botswana's 4x400-meter relay. He held off the United States and South Africa by the tiniest margin you can imagine and grabbed the gold. It was the first time Botswana ever won a world title in a men's relay event. Now, here's something special about him. Kebon Shippey didn't do this alone. He looks up to a runner named Isaac Makwala, a 3-time African champion who won an Olympic relay bronze. Kebon Shippey says, "From a young age, Isaac has been my role model, and that belief has spread to the whole country. Think about this. Botswana has only about 2.4 million people. That's a tiny nation. Yet, it is producing some of the fastest quarter-mile runners alive today. His rise didn't happen overnight, though. Back in 2022, his best 400-meter time was 45.2 seconds. Fast, but not world-class. In 2023, he won the African under-8 and under-20 title in 44.91 seconds. Every year, the numbers kept dropping. Little by little, he got better and better until Tokyo turned him into a world champion at just 21 years old. And in 2026, he kept climbing. He opened his season with a 100-meter run of 10.53 seconds in March. Then he ran 44.55 in the 400. By April, he clocked 9.89 seconds in the 100m. That is serious pure speed. Most 400 runners simply don't have that kind of quickness. But before Eugene came Paris on the 28th of June, 2026, Kebon Shippey lined up at the Paris meet and ran 43.54 seconds. That was a brand new Diamond League record. He broke the old mark of 43.6 seconds, which was set by Michael Norman way back in 2022. And get this, his Paris time was just 1/100th of a second off his own national record. Behind him, Zaki Na of South Africa came second in 43.89. American Chris Bailey ran his personal best of 44.06 for third. That Paris win was his second Diamond League victory of the year. His first came at the Xiamen meet in China in May. And in between those two races, he even went home to Botswana and anchored his relay team to victory at the World Athletics Relays, running a scorching leg of 43.099 seconds in Gaborone. So everything pointed in one direction. He wasn't just winning, he was getting faster every single time he stepped on the track. Which brings us back to the 4th of July. This Prefontaine race was one of the deepest 400-meter fields put together anywhere in the world all year. R.Y. Benjamin was in it testing his flat speed. Michael Norman was in it too. Norman actually won the world title over 400 meters at this very stadium in 2022. And this was his first Diamond League 400 in almost 2 years. Then there was Jaro Patterson, the defending Diamond League Series champion, plus Chris Bailey, Vernon Norwood, Chris Robinson, and Caleb McRae. On paper, This was maybe the strongest one-lap field the meet had seen in years. And Bailey was hungry. He had just run that 44.06 personal best behind Kebinat Shippey in Paris 1 week earlier, and he wanted to prove it was no fluke. The gun fired. R.Y. Benjamin, running way out in lane 9, exploded through the turn. Coming off the bend, he had a clear lead, but Kebinat Shippey did not panic. Running from the outside, he could see Benjamin ahead of him. He held his form. He stayed calm. He waited for the straightaway. Then, with 50m to go, he found another gear. He started eating up the gap with every single stride. Benjamin felt him coming and fought back. He refused to fold, but Kebin Shippey caught him right at the line. The final time, 44 seconds for Kebin Shippey. Benjamin crossed in 44.11, a personal best, but not enough. Chris Bailey took third in 44.58. Patterson and Robinson tied for fourth in 44.88. McRae was sixth in 44.91. Norwood seventh in 44.92, and Michael Norman in his big return finished ninth in 45.47, well off his best. Now here's the interesting thing. This was not Kebin Shippey's fastest race. Not even close to his Paris run. Paris showed us what he looks like when nothing is in his way. Smooth, controlled, straight to a record. But Eugene showed us something totally different. It showed what happens when an Olympic champion gets right on his shoulder and refuses to back down. Benjamin came within 1100 THS of a second of pulling off one of the biggest upsets of the season. And he did it as a guest in a sprinter race using way more raw speed than people gave him credit for. That's why Kebinat Shippey's answer mattered so much. Winning fast and clean, easy races is one kind of greatness, but grinding out a win with someone breathing down your neck is a completely different kind. In just 1 week, Eugene gave him both, and it stretched his 2026 Diamond League record to 3 races and 3 wins. In May, Paris in June, Eugene in July. But let's be honest, this win was also a bit of a wake-up call. Yes, he stayed unbeaten, but he finished well off his 43.53 national record, and he only won by 1100 THS of a second. The 400-meter field is getting crowded. Hurdlers are jumping in. Rising stars like Bailey are closing the gap that once looked impossible.